To be going live on VKJ's channel talking about predictions and about the season premiere of Ruthless that comes back out on April the 20th, guys. So make sure that you turn your notifications on so that you do not miss out on this conversation that we're going to be having. What's up, y'all, and welcome back to the rewatch of Ruthless Season 3. We're going to be recapping episodes 6 through 10. Just going to go over some of the major things that happened in these episodes, y'all. Let's get into it. We're going to see that something is going on with Zane, or rather, we've already seen it in the previous episode. We know that Manny is giving her a hard time, and River is also going to notice this. Now, he is going to try to figure out what's going on with her, and in an effort to be able to bargain with her, he tells her about Lacey. Now, immediately, she wants to know about Paula. Of course, he doesn't know what has happened to Paula at this time. But he does tell her that Lacey and Oliver are there. Of course, she wants to help them because she knows, how it goes inside of the punishment trailer, but he wants her to stay away from the punishment trailer. Now, Brian is going to be tortured and he is going to lose a few fingers, y'all. I mean, he definitely lost a few fingers. Now, Andrew is, of course, going to be watching, and we're going to constantly see Brian looking at Andrew for help almost. And I'm just like, it's no sense of both of you blowing your cover. I mean, it is what it is. Now, Elder Mother is going to be sad about Ruth, her being the highest to be. Elder Mother is extremely jealous. And when it comes to Ruth, she is just next level jealous. So she's actually pretty sad about this whole situation. Now, River is going to tell Ruth that she needs to talk to Zane. He really needs her help with her because Zane does know everything that is going on with them. She is privy to a lot of the information, and they need to make sure that her head is on straight. They cannot have her going off the deep end while they're trying to get this money. It's just not going to work out for them. Now, of course, Zane doesn't know about the money, but she knows a lot about a lot of other things. So, of course, we need to make sure that she's okay. Now, Elder Mother is going to put a play in motion. Now, the same way that Ruth put a play in motion and got Elder Mother sidelined, so to say, Elder Mother kind of strikes back and she decides that, hey, we need to have some pregnancy tests around here. So she goes to the highest and she tells him that, they need to have pregnancy tests and that, they should test the women and all this good stuff. And basically they should start with, Ruth. Tortured inside of the chamber. They're going to ask him if he's married, and then they're going to see under his ring that he has the name Lynn on there, and Daikon is like, it just can't be this Lynn. And then they're like, well, maybe she was the one that was sent here to be undercover, and Andrew is just kind of co-signing this whole situation. So of course Daikon is going to reach out to her, and he's like, look, hey, can you come up here to the camp, because she was supposed to come there and stay for a weekend and see what she thought about it. Truth be told, she's only going there to get the drugs, y'all. We already know that. So it is what it is. So anyway, Daikon is going to ask Andrew again. He is just determined to get Andrew in his bed, y'all. I mean, he is really looking for a rebound. He can't get to Ruth. I mean, the highest is doing the most right now. And he just wants somebody to be in his bed. And I'm just like, dude, you looking real thirsty right now. Can you please stop? But Daikon is going to go on to say that, you're just like everybody else. Old Daikon is just not good enough for you. And Daikon is kind of feeling sorry for himself. And I am just kind of feeling sorry for Daikon myself, too. Because I'm like, bruh, I mean, I'm sure there's somebody on the camp that, wants to get it in with you. So anyway, y'all, Malcolm and Lynn are extremely dysfunctional. We are going to figure out that these two are indeed sleeping with each other. This came back out, I don't know, season 2 maybe. Now, it's crazy because, Andrew's wife blew up her whole life messing around with Malcolm. And then it turns out he's messing around with his cousin's with his wife's cousin as well. It's just so crazy. Like, Malcolm literally is nothing. Like, Malcolm is so trash, but yet, she blew up her life for him. It's just crazy. I don't understand. But anyway, y'all, but she's gone now. So, there's that. So we're gonna see that these two are sleeping together. So when Daikon made that phone call to her, of course, she was in someone else's bed, and then we're going to get it revealed, and we're gonna see that it's them, and they're basically on a drug bender. They're doing a lot of coke, and they just have this totally dysfunctional situation going on. Now we're also gonna see that she is going to tell him about the camp. Of course, he already knows about it. I mean, he is an FBI agent. To be fair, he is the worst FBI agent ever in the history of probably FBI agents, but he does know about it. They talk about it. He wants to go there with her, knowing that Andrew is there undercover. He just wants to kind of go mess with Andrew. I mean, like, it's all a game to him. This dude is crazy, y'all. Now, we are going to see that Zane is going to absolutely do what River asked her not to do. So she's going to try to go to the punishment trailers, but Ruth is going to kind of intercept her. And then Ruth tells her, like, she's going to try to help her. And she's like, can you ask the highest to let me go? Like, she is damn near begging. She just wants to be away from this place. Now, we all know what she's going through. We know that Manny has been taking advantage of her, and he has been doing the R word to her. So she is definitely trying to get away from here. And Ruth is trying to calm her down and let her know that she's going to try to help her in any way that she can. Now, we are going to see that the highest is going to tell Rue, like, hey, we're going to get pregnancy tests for everyone, and we can start with this little bundle of joy right here. It's so crazy. I'm just like, this is going to be interesting, this whole pregnancy situation. Now, he is also going to ask her at that moment about River. He's like, he wants to see River tonight. And then he asks, like, are you even curious about it? And she's like, nah, I'm not curious about it at all. And, that they kind of just end their conversation there. She goes back to the trailers. Now, we are going to see that the highest is going to wake up that next morning. And we're going to see that he looks extremely tired. But when the camera zooms in, we're going to see that River is actually on the floor, tied up. I mean, he's naked. Who knows what the heck went down that night? Now, we're going to see that River looks like he's in a lot of pain, and the highest is just looking like, what in the world happened? Like, this was a wild night. Like, he acts like, like it was a lot of fun, but River doesn't look like there was any fun going on. So there's that whole situation. Now, we're going to see that Ruth is going to do something that she typically doesn't do, and she's going to confide in Joan about these pregnancy tests. And she believes that it was Elder Mother Marva who started this and is behind it. So at this time, she doesn't know that she's the one who actually, did start it. Now, we're going to see that Lynn's dumb behind is going to end up showing up at the camp, and she's going to bring Malcolm with her. Now, it's such an awkward situation because once they're actually allowed into the camp and Malcolm sees Andrew, it is just the most craziest. I'm just like, how can you be an FBI agent and be this dumb? Why would you put people's lives in danger? Why would you endanger anyone like this? You know that you're on this camp. You don't know anything that is going on out here, but you came out here to get drugs. I just don't understand Malcolm. Like, he just a lot to deal with, y'all. So anyway, y'all, Lynn wants to know if she's going to be able to see the highest. I mean, to be honest, all Lynn really wants to do is get out here and get high and, see the highest. She wants what happened to her last time. She wants that same feeling. And we all know that this is what actually got her right back into her habit, right back into her, her drug situation. And it's crazy because she never really had to go to the camp. She could have just stayed her behind at home and probably none of this would have ever happened. But, it is what it is. I guess bored housewife didn't have anything else to do. Just, I don't know. I've never understood what made her take herself out there that very first time, y'all. Just didn't make any sense to me. So anyway, y'all, we're going to see that Lynn says she has to go to the bathroom. Of course, she is being super bougie, even though I can't really blame her. I don't know about the outhouse either, y'all. Like, I don't know if that would be a situation that I would want to do my business in, but she is going to run into Elder Mother Marva, and they met last time, of course, and they're going to have a conversation, and she's going to want some food, and they're just going to catch up. So meanwhile, Andrew is taking Malcolm on a tour, and he takes this opportunity to find out what the heck he's doing there, why he's there. He's going to say that Mac sent him, but we absolutely know Mac didn't send this dumb ASS at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know that that was not the case. But this is what he says, and he says that he's trying to figure out why he hasn't closed the case so far, why it's taken so long. And Malcolm is just oblivious to everything that seems to be going on at the camp. He says that he's privy to all of this information, but it doesn't seem like he's privy at all. Otherwise, he would understand that he is in the lion's den and he pretty much is going to be eaten at some point. But, Malcolm is being Malcolm at this point. Now, Andrew is going to warn him to take Lynn and leave, but of course he doesn't listen. So I feel like at this point, you've tried to warn him, you've asked him time and time again to please leave, and he had his chance. So whatever happens next just happens. Now, meanwhile, y'all, Joan is going to end up telling Ruth about River having a bad night with the highest and how she should speak with him. And also, Ruth is going to confide in Joan again, and she's going to tell her about, elder mother Marva putting something in the highest food, which is causing his moods to alter, because basically it feels like the meds just wore off, and this is why River had such a hard time, because we all know that he was extremely happy, when he called for River. But, like Ruth said, that medicine must have wore off of him because he turned so violent. And this is typically when he's violent, is when he is not taking his medication. So just goes to show that you need to take your medication highest because you're doing the most. So anyway, y'all, we're going to see that Ruth says that So y'all, I don't know what it is about this show, but it feels like everybody decides they want to turn on each other, that they just want to start telling. Now, Ruth is going to tell Joan that if for any reason she gets caught up, that she is not going down by herself. And I'm like, why, if you get caught, will you not go down by yourself? Why everybody got to take everybody with them? I don't understand. That was like the constant theme of these 4 episodes. I heard that a couple of times. Now we're going to see that Lacey and Oliver are going to have a talk, and Lacey believes that Paula made it out. Now, to be honest, I don't know if Paula made it out. She was bleeding and we don't know whatever happened to her. So it would be nice to get some closure on Paula. Now, if for some reason I missed it somewhere down the line, what happened to Paula, y'all let me know in the comments, because I don't remember them ever giving us an update on her. I know we got an update on Tally, but not on Paula. So anyway, y'all, the highest is in the foulest of all moods. I mean, he hasn't had his breakfast yet. So that means that Elder Mother Marva hasn't been able to really dose him yet. We're going to see where Ruth and Joan are still doing their same old normal song and dance. She says this, she says that, she starts spelling something. It's just crazy. This is just what they do. But the fact that in this episode, or in these episodes, they started to confide in each other a little bit more, I thought that was pretty interesting, because sometimes I don't know if we can trust Joan all the way. And then there are times when I kind of question Ruth too. So, there's that. But, they do their little thing like they always do. And then Ruth goes to see the highest, and he's going to forget that he even asked to see River. He's extremely upset with Ruth. He's talking to her, he's going off on her. And then he tells her, look, don't challenge him right now. And at first she looks like she's going to try to challenge him, but then I think she looks a little deeper and realizes that this is not the time or the moment. I mean, he is really off his rockers right now. So she basically leaves. Now, before she leaves, he does tell her that she was going to boil her and Daikon alive, because he still thinks that she's with him, of course. So anyway, y'all, Daikon is going to end up taking over the tour for Malcolm. Joan is going to end up going to see the highest and tell him what he needs to do for the money. Elder Mother Marva is going to meet with Malcolm and Daikon, and he's going to tell Marva to feed them. Now, we already know what that means when Elder Mother Marva is about to go feed somebody. It's about to be a bunch of high people in the building. So Anyway, Daikon is gonna tell her to hit them hard, because he needs them to be incapacitated, basically. Now, Ruth is going to end up checking in on River, and she's going to tell him about Elder Mother Marva and how she's been putting stuff in his food. And she's going to want to know, did he even know that he was on medication? And he said that he pretty much guessed that he had to be because he was crazy. But he said that he did notice that whenever he ate Elder Mother Marva's food, he seemed to be in a better mood. He seemed to be happier. But when he didn't, he wasn't. So River did peep this out. Of course, he never told Joan about it. I guess it just never came up, but it is something that he did notice. Okay, so Elder Mother Marva is going to end up feeding Lynn and Malcolm, and this is going to be one of the few times that we actually see Daikon and Marva being nice to each other. I mean, he even, reaches out for her hand to help her down the stairs, y'all. I'm just saying, like, we don't see these moments too much, so that was interesting. So Ruth is going to end up confronting Elder Mother Marva, and you already know Marva is going to go ahead and let it be known that yes, she was the one. She is the one who put this in the highest head, and it is what it is, and that she's going to be the first one to take the pregnancy test. Now we're going to see that the highest is going to end up bringing Lynn to Brian. Now the highest is going to tell Brian that his wife is having an affair with Malcolm. Brian is sitting up there looking so crazy, just looking like, what in the world is going on? To be fair, if I was Brian, I wouldn't give a damn what happens to Lynn. Like, I literally would have just let her be. Like, seriously. Like, you done brought this dude up to the Rockadooshi camp. You coming back up to the camp when you shouldn't even be here. You know that there is an undercover there. Like, everything about this is crazy to me. But the fact that Brian still has this care in his heart for her, I'm just like, bro, you gonna have to suck it up and learn about survival. But we see where this all leads him and gets him anyway when it's all said and done. Now, Daikon does tell the highest, like, look, I can get him to talk because Brian still hasn't told who the undercover agent is. He still hasn't said anything. They're trying to figure out if it's Lynn or if it's someone else. But he has, stayed pretty solid. He has held it down. But, he three fingers down at this point. But I don't know how much more Brian can really take from this situation, especially now that Lynn is in the mix with it. But at the end of it, when the highest walks out, he does tell him that he wants them to kill Malcolm's girlfriend. And I'm just like, dang, you just gonna keep punching him in the gut like that, huh? You just gonna keep doing Brian like this. So, I thought that was hilarious. But anyway, y'all, we're gonna find out that Joan is gonna tell Ruth that they'll be visiting 2 banks a day, getting a little under 100K per visitor. So once again, they are talking way more. They are confiding in each other a lot more than they have been because these two really don't trust each other. And I still don't think that they trust each other. I just think that they are starting to realize that they gotta work together at the end of the day. Now, the sheriff is going to visit and he's going to talk to the highest. Now, River itself is going to convince Ruth that she needs to go and listen and see what's going on because the sheriff is there and, the highest is out there talking to him. So she's going to waltz her little self out there with a glass of lemonade. And the sheriff is just like, look, I do not want this lemonade. The last time I had something to drink here, he just wasn't having it. Now, right before she walked up, he and the highest were talking, and he, once again, is trying to extort more money out of them. Now, I can't say that I really blame him, being that there's so many dead bodies going on. They're FBI agents on the compound. Like, he has a lot to lose at the same time, so why not get as much money from them as you can? Now, he knows that they are going to be visiting these banks, and so he wants a big, large sum. Now, they're only getting $3 million, and he wants $2 million of the three. Now, to be fair, I'm thinking to myself, like, highest, are we gonna put our foot down? Like, are you gonna, like, clean your foggy third eye and tell him, hell no? Maybe just give him, like, $1 million? Like, y'all could have took half the money, but you gonna give him more than what you have, which is gonna mess up his entire plan. Now, he is going to act a fool, y'all. Like, as soon as the sheriff leaves, he is going to slap the heck out of Ruth. He is going to drag her all the way through the compound, drag her into the trailer, And then he's going to tell her that he's going to cut her ear off, saying that she was trying to listen. And then she tries to explain to him, like, look, I know that we're not normal. No rules have been set. But in regular cultures, the wife always brings the guest a drink, and she's trying to talk him down. So she gets the sword that he asked for, And she's like, here, go ahead, cut it off. And of course, she's using this psychology on him. And then he ends up, telling her to put it down. And then, he tells her everything. He's like, you want to know? There's the FBI agents in here. Lilo's dead. This person's dead. The sheriff's deputy is dead. And everybody at people at the camp have been committing these murders and all this stuff. Like, he has a lot of stuff on his mind, and it just is what it is. So So Ruth finds out everything that she really needs to know about what's been going on. And so then she kind of, starts to talk to him and tells him, that he already knows what to do. Like, he's so powerful. He's so this, that he knows what's going to happen next. Every time she does this, I'm just like, really? This really worked? Like, that's what we really doing, Tyrone? Are you that anal that you really believe? Okay, and you know what? We're not even gonna go there because we already know the answer to that. Yes, he definitely believes all of this. So he tells her, but he does say this. He says, "No, I didn't think of that. I didn't think of that." Like, he's just completely honest in this moment. And then he comes up with the idea that, well, she tells him like, "Hey, you know, I'm not really the one thinking of this, your presence is what's allowing me to think of this." And then he like, let's lay together and we're gonna put our heads together. It was just a whole Raku mess, y'all. I ain't even gonna lie to you. Crazy. The Marva is getting a kick out of seeing Ruth being dragged through the compound because it's like everybody saw it and she's just laughing about it. She thinks it's cute. And it's so interesting to me that she's always so invested in everybody else getting punished, But when it comes time for something to happen to her, she's always, but I'm an old woman, yada, yada. I'm just like, but you were so invested in everybody else. But anyway, y'all, that's for a whole nother video. Now, Joan is going to tell Marva that they can't afford to pay for these pregnancy tests that she wants to get. She tells her like, hey, all I need is one, because she is determined to make Ruth take this pregnancy test. But Joan is trying to hold her off. Now, we're going to see that Zane is going to tell River how Manny has killed Melinda and how he's been R-ing her. He's been, taking her. And she's tired of it. This is really hurting her. Like, this is troubling her. But River has been trying to figure out what's going on with her. So she finally tells him. Now, River is going to tell her that he will help her and that, that she needs to talk to Ruth. Now, Marva is going to end up telling Zane that she needs her to steal a pregnancy test. Now, I'm like, really? You gonna send her to the store to try to steal a pregnancy test? Now, what if she get caught? That's just gonna bring more heat onto the camp. Like, sometimes they just do not be thinking at all. Now, Lacey is gonna tell Oliver what the cleansing is, because apparently Oliver had no idea what the cleansing was. And she asked him, like, would you have went through with it? Well, right before she tells him what the cleansing is, she asked him, would he have done it? And he was like, when he was in it, he would have done whatever. And then she tells him what it is. And he like, And to be fair, I really think that at the place that Oliver was at, because he was really caught up in it. He really believed in it. I feel like he would have done it. I mean, like so many others have, I think he would have went right along with it. So it is what it is. He can say that he wouldn't in that moment, but I don't believe it. So anyway, y'all, Zane is going to end up taking food to Oliver and Lacey, but unfortunately, it's so far over that they can't even get to it, which is crazy because now somebody's going to know that somebody brought food in there. We're going to hear Malcolm tell them that he is an FBI agent. So Malcolm is in the freezer, y'all, and Malcolm is singing like a bird. He's probably going through some sort of withdrawals, coming down off of all these drugs. And he's saying how he's an FBI agent and how they're dumb and how they're coming in there to get them. And then Daikon is like, how? Did you tell somebody? And then he goes on to tell him, he was like, yeah. And then he was like, but didn't he tell you not to come? And then Malcolm is like, how did you know that? He's like, Mac, because he's with us. So in this moment, we find out that Mac is possibly another inside person. We know that there are a lot of inside people because this has a lot to do with the cartels are all mixed up in this, and it goes up really high. So it wouldn't surprise me if Mac is truly a part of this whole situation as well. So now Malcolm's whole thing of, oh, they're coming to get me is kind of blown up by this information. He, of course, doesn't believe it, but what he does next is just so stupid. Like, I don't understand why everybody needs to tell everything, because he just straight up tells them that Andrew is the FBI agent that is undercover. So there's that. Now we're going to see that Manny is going to try to get at Zane again, but River is going to end up saving her because he's going to see when they went into the bus, and he's going to go in there and he's basically going to tell Manny to leave her alone. So it may work for a little while, but we all know that a predator is a predator and that this is not going to end. And that's pretty much what River tells her. So there's that. Now, Lynn is going to come down off of her high, and she is just going to go crazy. I mean, to be fair, her and Malcolm actually deserve each other. Like, I can see why they're together. Like, they literally wouldn't be able to survive in this whole camp situation. Like, they wouldn't make it at the Rakadushi camp because they are both stupid. I'm just keeping it real. Like, these two are just stuck on stupid. So it just is what it is at this point, y'all. It was just a crazy situation. I wouldn't want to be anywhere with Lynn. Like, she got herself into this whole situation, and then she has the nerve and the audacity. It's just too much. Now, the hunt for Andrew is going to begin, and we're also going to see that Marva is going to tell Daikon, like, look, I don't believe that Ruth is pregnant, but the way that she goes about doing it is just so extremely funny, y'all. I'll have to put that clip in here as well.
Come here. What, Marva? I don't believe Ruth is pregnant.
Now, River needs Ruth to help with Zane because they need to keep Zane sane. She needs to be able to take back her power. She needs to be able to fight off Manny, and she needs to get this information from someone like Ruth who can help her and tell her what she needs to do. Now, Elder Mother Marva is definitely still coming for Ruth. At some point, she's even going to tell her that Tally is dead. But she doesn't tell her like in a caring way. She tells her in a malicious way, like it's funny, like it was something to be laughed about. And I was just like, Elder Mother, like, I would just trip her if I was Ruth sometime. When she walking by, I just stick my foot out and then I keep walking. But, I'm just saying. Now, y'all, Andrew is going to be in the kitchen, and he's going to get called by Elder Mother Marva. He's trying to get some pain meds. He tells her that he has this headache, but the truth of the matter is that he's trying to get these pain meds so that he can take them to Brian and Lynn because he's trying to help them. Now, of course, he doesn't know that he's been found out just yet. So anyway, y'all, Joan and Ruth are still having their moments. Like I said, these last several episodes, I've actually enjoyed these two, their interactions with each other. Now, Joan is going to end up telling Ruth what Elder Mother is up to, and that she needs to actually put soda on the pregnancy test because, although she won't give her the money, she has talked Zane into stealing the pregnancy test. And so the fix is if she can also get a soda. Now, they don't have sodas on the camp, but they just need to get a soda. And apparently, if you put soda on a pregnancy test, then, it's supposed to come out positive. Now, I don't know if this is true. If anybody has ever done it before, then let me know if it's actually true. So anyway, y'all, we're gonna see that Andrew is gonna come in. He's gonna give Lynn and Brian the pain meds. Of course, Brian doesn't want to take it. Brian is all in his feelings, y'all. He is acting real salty right now with Andrew, and I'm just like, do you not see the situation that y'all are in? If he tries to help y'all right now, like if he tries to do anything, he is going to be killed. He's gonna be caught just like y'all. Like y'all need to think about this, like be smart about this. But you got Lynn in there going crazy, screaming, talking about don't leave us. And then she even goes on to say how she's gonna tell it, talking about he might not tell, but I'm gonna tell. Like, and then what? Then you're never going to get out of there. Do you really think that they're going to let you leave? I do not get it. I do not understand. So, what is even the point? If they're not going to let you leave, if they're going to kill you anyway, I would take my chances on Andrew actually helping me rather than tell him how, you know, I'm going to tell it. But, you know, she's devolving. I mean, not devolving. She's coming down off of these drugs. Now, I did forget to mention that Joan did tell Ruth that she thinks that the highest is going to run off with the money. She doesn't think that he's going to come back. She thinks he's going to leave them there. And, you know, Ruth is like, you know, that's a possibility. I mean, it's definitely something that he might just do. I did forget to mention that Ruth did ask Joan about the suicide thing. She asked her if she knew about Tally, and she told her that she saw it online and that she was the one who told Elder Mother Marva about it, but that she did read where Tally went to Nancy's home and she's like, do you know them? And she says no. So of course she doesn't tell her everything because we all know that this is Callie's grandparents, right? And then Joan tries to comfort her and tells her that she needs to get it together. And of course, you know, Ruth kicks her out. So there's that. Now we are going to see that Lynn is going to end up asking Daikon to unchain her. She tries to use her feminine wiles, y'all, but it just wasn't working because she just can't get it together, you know. But then Daikon ends up, you know, having some drugs, and he's like, look, if you want these drugs, you got to do this, you got to do something a little strange for these drugs. And he wants her to do it in front of her husband. I mean, that's the whole point of this whole thing. And Brian is just sitting there looking crazy. And then, you know, Daikon is like gonna walk away. It's not like he's saying, I'm gonna kill you. He's trying to give you drugs. And then she's like, okay, I'll do it. And she starts to give dude fellatio right there in front of her husband. And it's just so crazy. And I'm just like, dang, Brian, you technically might as well got bent over and cleansed yourself, because I mean, they is definitely hitting you left and right. Like seriously, Brian, I feel for you, brother. Like I felt for you in this moment. So anyway, y'all, we're gonna see that Zane is gonna come on to River. Like Zane has this thing for River, but she doesn't realize that River really doesn't play for her team or whatnot. I guess the fact that he shows her so much attention and that he's always trying to help her, she got the wrong idea. But you know, River, you know, apologizes to her and tells her that it has nothing to do with her. And so she says that she understands, but I just thought that that was really cute and interesting. Now, Ruth is going to tell Zane that she needs to take back control, that she needs to take the power away from him, basically, instead of letting him think that he's doing something to her, even though it hurts, even though she's in pain. She can't let him see the pain, and she has to take back the control. But Zane just doesn't know how she's going to be able to do this. And to make matters even worse, Elder Mother Marva is going to tell Manny to take her to the store. Out of all the people that she could have gotten to take her to the store, this is who she is going to ask to take her to the store. So it just makes matters even worse for Zane in this moment. Now, meanwhile, Andrew is going to try to help Malcolm. He's going to go try to get him, you know, he's going to go to the freezer and he's going to tell him, you know, look, I'll be back. And Malcolm, of course, is trying to get him to take him now. But I'm just like, why is everybody not listening? Why are they not listening to the fact that he is having to move very carefully around here in order to be able to help them? Now, we're going to see that Andrew is going to run into Ruth. Of course, Ruth still doesn't trust Andrew. Like, she never knows what side he's on. And I can't really be mad at her for this, because Andrew has played the long game and he has really been playing it very very well. I mean, you would think that he is a loyal member of the Rakadushi and not part of the FBI at times. So, I mean, he had me questioning a lot of times, was he really, in it or not? So it is what it is. And after all, he did get cleansed. I mean, he is all the way in at this point. Like, he is really undercover. He is doing it all the way. So, you know, so Ruth doesn't trust him is what it all boils down to. So anyway, y'all, she is gonna end up telling him about Tally. Of course, we know that Andrew and Tally had this thing, and there's that. Learn that Andrew is really trying to find allies. He's trying to figure out who actually wants to leave the camp. And this is the information that he's trying to get from Ruth, but Ruth is just not budging with it. Now, the highest is acting stranger than normal. I mean, he's already, off his rockers most of the time, but I mean, he is really, really acting really weird and strange, y'all. Now, Elder Mother Marva is going to stick her nose in some business that had nothing to do with her. Now, we're going to see that Daikon has graduated from the fellatio to full on banging Lynn right in front of Brian. I mean, dang, Brian. I'm just saying, bruh, you just, dang. But anyway, y'all, Elder Mother Marva is going to hear what's going. She's going to hear something in there. And she's just going to walk in the punishment trailer. And then she's going to go, I'm going to tell on you. I'm just like, y'all are like some little kids talking about you going to tell. And the way that Daikon pushed her out of that punishment trailer, y'all, it was a whole scene. But she does. She goes to the highest and she tries to tell him. But what ends up happening, I don't think she saw coming, because the highest is like, did you knock on the door? Did they tell you to come in? Like, or did, and she's like, no, I didn't. And she didn't see anything wrong with that. And he's like, okay. And then he tells Manny to take her to the punishment trailer. So now she ends up in the punishment trailer with Oliver and Lacey. So it backfired on her is what it all boils down to. Now, we're also going to see a moment where the highest is going to ask Manny. I forgot all about this, but I can't remember exactly when it was, but it was in one of these episodes that the highest did tell Manny that he wants him to protect his wife. Like, he wants him to be her soldier, but in order for him to take this position, he has to be cleansed, and that he was going to be cleansing him. And I'm like, I just need you to stop cleansing folks. Like, this, okay, never mind. I'm just gonna let that one go, y'all. So anyway, y'all, Daikon is going to end up telling him about Andrew, and this is going to send him spiraling. Like, it feels like it is just one thing after another. I mean, it has to be hard to be the highest. I mean, you're having to run this camp. Everybody is just doing what they want most of the time. Like, it has to be a lot. And then you have this person dying, that person dying. You're trying to keep these people out. You're trying to get this money. You're trying to do all of these different things. But I mean, nothing is going right. And Daikon is supposed to be your second in command, but he don't have no control either. So, it just is what it is. So we know that these next several episodes that the highest is about to be on 1,000. Now we're going to see that Lacey is going to tell Marva that she should be careful because, look, I killed Agnes. So, I have no problem killing you. But, Elder Mother Marva is still going to talk her mess, y'all. It is what it is. Now, we are also going to learn that the highest is going to end up going to talk to Malcolm, y'all. He's going to get him out the freezer, and he's like, and Daikon is like, look, you had something to say, right? And of course, Malcolm is going to start running his mouth. He's going to go on to tell him, like, look, Andrew is the FBI agent. It's just crazy how these people are so quick to tell, even though it's not going to get them out of anything, even though it is not going to fix the situation. And now you put Andrew in this position to where he can't help you because you have basically just, blew his cover all the way when you shouldn't have even been there in the beginning, y'all. It was so crazy. That was a lot. So anyway, y'all, that's what's up with the rewatch of Ruthless season 3, episodes 6 through 10. Let me know what y'all thought about episodes 6 through 10. What did y'all think about Malcolm and Lynn showing up, about Malcolm running his mouth and blowing up Andrew's cover? Go ahead and get the conversation started down below. We're going to be going live on VKJ's channel talking about predictions and about the season premiere of Ruthless that comes back out on April the 20th, guys. So make sure that you turn your notifications on so that you do not miss out on this conversation that we're going to be having. Now, guys, if you like this video, make sure to go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to your girl channel. Turn on your notifications so that you do not miss out on any of my future content. Until next time, peace.